We're back with the latest on Operation Epic Fury. At least 12 American service members are hurt after an Iranian missile and drone attack at this airbase in Saudi Arabia. Our senior foreign correspondent, Mike Tobin, is in Tel Aviv, where sirens were sounding just moments ago. Mike, what can you tell us?
Well, we had the missile alerts coming into this part of the country, but it looks like the impacts or interceptions are all going to happen to the east and south of where we are right now. But I want to update you on a couple things. Marco Rubio has reportedly told other G7 foreign ministers that this war is going to go longer than what the president projected. Axios is reporting through anonymous sources that the U.S. Secretary of State told other foreign ministers, we just heard an impact in the background there, that could have been an interception, but the U.S. Secretary of State told other foreign ministers gathered in France that the war could last another 2 to 4 weeks. He also said there are communications between the U.S. and Iran, but they're happening through a third party. He said the U.S. can handle reopening the Strait of Hormuz alone, but will want allies to help patrol the waterway when the war is over. On Friday, the U.S. Secretary of State said U.S. objectives in Iran are being met.
When we are done, Iran was already weak. When we are done with them here in the next couple of weeks, they will be weaker than they've been in recent history, and they will not be able to hide behind those weapons to break out and get a nuclear weapon, which would be crazy.
12 U.S. service members are injured, 2 of them seriously. This after an Iranian attack on the U.S. Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia. A KC-135 mid-air refueler was hit and caught on fire. The attack involved drones and missiles from Iran. The Houthis are off the sidelines. For the first time in this stage of the war, the Houthis have fired at Israel. Israel intercepted a missile headed in the direction of their nuclear research facility in southern Israel. That area was struck by 2 Iranian missiles last week. 2 ballistic missiles with 1,000-pound warheads got through the air defenses. They struck residential areas in the towns Arad and Dimona. Almost 200 people were injured. The nuclear research facility was not impacted. We did hear what just sounds like it was another interception in this general area. And we know with this latest missile attack, there were a number of targets all over the nation of Israel in this latest attack. And we know that at least 1 missile was headed in the direction of southern Israel, where the Negev nuclear research facility is located. No word right now on any impact or any injuries. Guys, back to you.
All right, Mike Tobin, live for us in Tel Aviv. Mike, thank you very much. Meanwhile, the Pentagon reportedly considering deploying 10,000 more troops to the Middle East after President Trump puts a pause on strikes against Iran's main energy infrastructures while signaling that the end is near. Listen.
We have another 3,554 targets left. And that'll be done pretty quickly. And then, at some point, we're going to have to determine what we do. But they've never seen anything like it. So I think we have regime change already. But we're going to be, at some point, we'll be leaving.
So let's bring in former Naval Intelligence Officer Captain Todd Sawhill. Captain, thank you for joining us. Help square for us the fact that we just heard Secretary of State Marco Rubio saying that this is about 2 to 4 weeks left, but yet reports of 10,000 more troops being sent to the region after we already know the 82nd Airborne on their way. And then, of course, that Marine 31st MEU is on its way.
Hey, good morning, guys. So I think the movement of the ground forces and the enablers, and as you mentioned, particularly the Boxer and the Tripoli amphibious ready groups and the Marine expeditionary units, plus the elements of the 82nd, really center around making sure the president has maximum options should he decide the ground operations in any part of Iran are necessary. And before I just list off all the key islands, I don't necessarily want to focus on that because I don't want to telegraph what we may or may not do, because really that's the decision-making level for the President and the Secretary of Defense. But beyond holding territory at risk, those forces could also be used for internal security in and around the bases in the region, as well as potentially raids for the nuclear material should the President determine that's the only way to retrieve it, because we're currently at such loggerheads on the conditions for cessation between the U.S. and Iran. So ultimately, it's all about options as we continue to really set the conditions with rolling back the missile, drone, and air-to-ground forces that have been significantly degraded over the last 3 weeks.
You know, Captain, you really put your finger on an important point, and that is the loggerhead. We can show you the comparison of what the U.S. is demanding versus what Iran is trying to say. Now, the U.S., of course, wants dismantlement of Iran's entire nuclear program and facilities, zero nuclear enrichment, missile constraints, and, of course, the Strait of Hormuz must have free passage. They want an end to Iran's proxy support. That's like the Houthis, Hezbollah, and Hamas. Now, Iran, on the flip side, wants guarantee no further attacks, full sanctions, relief, war compensation, new payment system for the Strait of Hormuz, which would give them more control, by the way, than they already have as the bully of Hormuz, and removal of regional U.S. bases. It doesn't appear in any scenario that an agreement's going to come over this.
As of right now, I think their goals are almost mutually exclusive. We've made it really clear that we want stability, no nuclear capability whatsoever, and an end to their power projection capability that holds both our forces and the GCC partners at risk. Israel has made it clear that they're going for regime change to the maximum extent, but they have their front that's now open in Lebanon. And we're at odds on how to make that end as well. Iran seems to be fighting, like I had mentioned in a previous interview, a total war. They're completely committed to this while we're still in certain cases limited. And if you look at what's happened over the last 48 hours, the death of someone like Admiral Ali Reza Tangsiri, you know, he's no Soleimani. They have got a very next man up attitude about this. So they are going to look at opportunities to exercise asymmetric warfare. We've already seen increase in cyber. Their proxies may get pulled in, as just referenced from Israel. The Houthis appear to have entered the fight over the last 24 hours, and they've been quiet until now. And that adds another dimension with what they could do with Bab el-Mandeb.
Yeah, that's right. The Strait of Mandeb is an issue that we may be talking about. We'll see what happens. Captain Todd Sawhill, thank you very much for your insight.
Thanks, guys.
Want even more Fox News on YouTube? Become a Fox News Patriot today. Click join to find out how.